Welcome, history buffs and fantasy fans, to a journey through the looms and halls of Westeros. Today, we're not just talking about swords and dragons. We're unraveling the threads of power woven into the very fabric of royalty in Game of Thrones. From the moment we first laid eyes on the opulent courts of King's Landing, it was clear that in this world, clothing is never just clothing. It's a declaration of war, a whisper of allegiance, and a testament to lineage. Have you ever wondered why Cersei's gowns were so rich, or why the Starks favored practical furs? Stick around, because we're about to decode the hidden language of Westerosi fashion, from the silks of the South to the leathers of the North, and reveal how every stitch tells a story. Let's start with a look back in time, not just in Westeros, but in our own world. The lavish, intricate gowns worn by Targaryen and Lannister queens weren't just born from a fantasy artist's imagination. They echo the grandeur of medieval European courts. Think of the elaborate brocades, the sweeping trains, and the heavy, jewel-encrusted fabrics. These were all symbols of immense wealth and status, designed to awe and intimidate visitors, just as they did in the courts of the Tudors or the Valois. Now, travel north to Winterfell. The Stark's attire, with its heavy furs, thick wools, and muted earthy tones, is a direct reflection of their environment. It's practical, durable, and screams survival. You can see clear parallels to the clothing of Vikings or Scottish Highlanders, people who understood that fashion had to serve a purpose against the biting cold. And what about the sun-drenched kingdom of Dorne? Their flowing silks, vibrant oranges, and revealing cuts aren't just for show. They speak to a warmer, more liberated culture, drawing inspiration from Moorish or Mediterranean styles where comfort and freedom of movement were prized. Each region's fashion is a history lesson in itself, shaped by climate, culture, and contact with the outside world. But it's not just about historical inspiration. It's about the story the materials themselves tell. In Westeros, fabric is a language of wealth and influence. When you see a character draped in shimmering silks from Essos or adorned with delicate Myrish lace, you're not just seeing a pretty outfit. You're seeing the tangible results of lucrative trade routes and immense family fortunes. The vibrant, almost mythical Tyroshi dyes were so expensive that only the wealthiest could afford them, making a character's color palette a direct indicator of their social standing. And this isn't limited to the ladies of the court. Think about the armor. Robert Baratheon's armor in his prime wasn't just a hunk of metal. It was imposing, functional, and bore the stag of his house, a symbol of his raw strength and authority. Even Jaime Lannister's golden armor wasn't just for bling. It was a dazzling, intimidating uniform that announced the wealth and power of his family on the battlefield. The evolution of these costumes is perhaps the most brilliant part of the show's storytelling. Take Cersei's journey. She begins in the vibrant reds and golds of House Lannister, a proud lioness draped in the finery of her family. But as she suffers loss after loss and consolidates her own isolated power, her wardrobe darkens. Her colors fade, replaced by somber, almost militaristic black gowns with sharp, severe silhouettes. Her clothing becomes her armor, reflecting a heart hardened by grief and a soul stripped of its former allegiances. It's a masterclass in visual storytelling, showing her descent into a ruthless, solitary queen without a single word of dialogue. Now let's zoom in on the details, because in the Game of Thrones, even the smallest accessory can be a checkmate. Crowns, necklaces, and brooches are more than just jewelry. They are the ultimate symbols of authority and heritage. The Baratheon crown, forged with stag antlers, was a clear nod to the house sigil and Robert's identity as a powerful hunter. Contrast that with the delicate, nature-inspired jewelry worn by Margaery Tyrell, reflecting the wealth and fertility of the Reach. Remember the necklace Sansa wore at Joffrey's wedding, a gift from the Tyrells? It wasn't just a beautiful piece. It was a subtle web of intrigue, its design mirroring the plots being woven around her. And let's not forget the power of a simple pin. The hand of the kingpin is an instant signifier of power and influence, passed from one to the next, often with deadly consequences. Even the materials used are steeped in meaning. The Lannisters, with their gold mines, are always dripping in gold. It's their color, their brand, a constant reminder of the source of their power. The Targaryens, on the other hand, are often associated with silver and black colors that speak to their otherworldly, almost ethereal origins, as well as the fire and blood of their legacy. Every clasp, every ring, every intricate hairstyle is a piece of the puzzle, conveying loyalty, marital status, or even a hidden threat that only the most observant courtier would notice. Finally, let's talk about how these costumes became prophecies. The fashion in Game of Thrones often foreshadowed a character's fate long before it unfolded. Think about Joffrey's wedding. He was dressed in the most decadent fabrics, a true peacock of a king. Yet his clothing also felt constricting, almost suffocating, a visual cue for his impending doom. Renly Baratheon's green and gold armor, complete with a magnificent antlered crown, projected an image of a vibrant, beloved king. He looked the part, every inch the storybook hero, which made his sudden, shadowy death all the more shocking. The costume created a promise of a future that would never come to pass. And even after death, these fashion choices define a character's legacy. We remember Robert Baratheon, not in his sad later years, but in his powerful, commanding armor. We remember Margaery Tyrell in her beautiful, rose-adorned gowns, a symbol of her cunning and ambition. These outfits cement their place in Westerosi history, becoming as iconic as their deeds and their downfall. The costume design in Game of Thrones is a character in itself, constantly evolving and enriching the narrative in ways we're still discovering. So, the next time you rewatch the series, I challenge you to look closer. Pay attention to the cut of a sleeve, the choice of a color, or the glint of a sigil pin. You'll find a whole new layer of storytelling waiting for you, a silent narrative woven into every thread. The fashion of Westeros is a testament to the incredible power of costume design to build a world, shape our perception of characters, and turn an epic fantasy into an unforgettable visual saga. What were some of your favorite outfits or fashion moments from the show? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Until next time, stay curious.